Hey, happy Thursday morning to you, everyone, and welcome back to Morning Musings. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. Look, I was going to continue up my discussion of Romans 7 and Paul's discussion of death, how he had been alive and died, how he is recapitulating the story of Adam. And I'm going to get back to that, okay? And I'll get back to that on next Monday. But I just have to say a few more words about this recent decision by President Trump to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and the ensuing riots, and of course the dispensational and Zionist paranoia, if you please, I'm trying to be kind here, that has ensued. I mean, video after video has popped up. One prophecy pundit after another has claimed, oh, well, this is it. This is it. We are now in the last days for sure. And this means, and by the way, in an article on WorldNet Daily, WorldNet Daily, they cite several rabbis who say President Trump's decision opens the door for the rebuilding of the Jerusalem temple. And the excitement, the enthusiasm that has been generated by that is just incredible in the evangelical dispensational world, of course. Now, I did a video a couple of days ago on that. The response has been great. But I want you to consider the question because, look, I have had some people contacting me saying, this proves Donald Trump is the Antichrist. Well, no, it doesn't. And let me illustrate the difficulty. Let me illustrate how, to use the term, and again, I'm not trying to be, and I'm certainly not angry, but I don't want to be unkind in any way. I want to be as gracious as possible. But I want you to be aware of how the dispensational leaders change their theological narrative at the slightest whim. They jump up and they point to any given, quote, sign, unquote, as absolute proof that we are in the last days, and that key element proves that we are in the last days. The countdown has begun. You remember 1980s countdown to Armageddon? Yeah? Well, the point of fact is, so very, very often, they pick out an event and they say, that's it. Boy, that's the proof. When in fact, if you read their material, you will find that they have a timeline of events that are supposed to happen in a given following order sequentially. And the event that they're now claiming is proof that we're in. Here's the beginning of that timeline. Here's this event, and they say, we're here. Oh, but wait a minute. If we're here, that means these things must absolutely have had to have happened, and when in fact they absolutely have not happened yet. Now, let me show you how designating Donald Trump as the Antichrist and as a sign of the end puts the dispensational authors, prognosticators, in an absolute, inescapable box. Now watch this. In the dispensational narrative, what do you have? You have the rapture of the church. Keep that in mind. That's point number one, the rapture of the church. Then you have the appearance of the Antichrist. The Antichrist comes after the rapture. If Donald Trump is the Antichrist, one of two things has to occur, okay? Or has to be true. Point number one, the rapture has already taken place, and my oh my, all of us missed it. All of us were left behind. Or, if Donald Trump serves only one 4-year term, that sometime in the next 3 years, do you catch the power of that? Sometime in the next 3 years, the rapture absolutely must take place. Because remember, first the rapture, then the manifestation of the man of sin. So let me repeat that. If Donald Trump is the man of sin, then either the rapture has already taken place, or sometime within the next 3 years, the rapture will take place, and sometime in the next 3 years, Donald Trump will sign a peace treaty with Israel, allowing them to rebuild the temple. Well, folks, that must mean that Donald Trump has control over the Temple Mount, which he does not have. And of course, if he signs a peace treaty, wait a minute, 3.5 years after he signs the peace treaty, he breaks the treaty. But wait a minute, 3.5 years after where we're at right now would mean that Trump is out of office and would have no ability to break the covenant that he ostensibly has to make with Israel, allowing them to rebuild the temple. Oh, wait a minute. When he breaks the treaty 3.5 years after he makes the treaty, and remember, if Donald Trump is the Antichrist, he's only got 3 more years to make the treaty in the first place. Boy, he better get busy. So, if Donald Trump is the Antichrist, sometime in the next 3 years, he has to sign a peace treaty with Israel, allowing them to rebuild the temple. Oh, but wait, 3.5 years after signing the treaty, he breaks the covenant. Well, that must mean Donald Trump's going to get elected. Anybody want to make that absolute 100% bona fide prediction? Nobody knows. But 3.5 years after he signs the treaty, he breaks the treaty, and the Great Tribulation breaks out. And if Donald Trump is the Antichrist, that means that Donald Trump must turn into the persecutor of Israel. Wow. Folks, do you see how when articles like this on WorldNet Daily begin to trumpet, pun intended, begin to trumpet that we're in the last days. Look what Donald Trump has done. It's a sign, it's a sign, it's a sign. No, it is not a sign. There are more reasons for rejecting the idea, as some are saying, that Donald Trump must be the Antichrist. Listen, in the first video that I did a couple of days ago, I made an offer that if you want to see the proper time frame, the proper framework for the fulfillment of the prediction of the man of sin and the prediction of the Great Tribulation, the prediction of Armageddon, the prediction of all of those things, you need to get a copy of my book, Can God Tell Time? And I made this offer to the first 20 viewers of that video. I'm continuing the offer, and I'm expanding the offer thanks to a very generous viewer who has now offered for the first 50 viewers, all right? The first 50 viewers who contact me and say, Don, I saw your offer on YouTube or Facebook in your video about President Trump's decree about Jerusalem and about Trump being the Antichrist, whatever. Just contact me and say, I saw your offer. I would love to have a copy of Can God Tell Time? I will send you a copy absolutely free of charge. All right? Now, if you are overseas, I cannot make this offer to send a hard copy. But if you'll contact me, I'll provide an ebook of that on certain conditions. All right? But the point being, you need a copy of this book. You need to see how false such phantasmagoric predictions such as are being made about where we are in the prophetic timeline truly are. the current predictions and the current phantasmagoric concepts and excitement over being in the last days will be just another example of false predictions of the imminent end. Get a copy of this book free of charge, and you will see how absolutely true that is. All right, well, don't forget, tomorrow we will have video number 14 in our response and refutation of Kenneth Gentry's book, Have We Missed the Second Coming? You don't want to miss it. We'll see you on the flip side.